Hi, this is the presentation for the senior project for Joe Sclafani and Joe Thresher. The main idea behind our senior project is to create a database to be used as an inventory system for our the company we both work for, which is State Line Video Games in Agawam and Enfield. Basically, we wanted to create a easy to use user interface to be able to add, delete, and update a current inventory system. At this moment, we have the functionality of a welcome screen, a viewing of the database along with filter implementations, and a separate user interface to add and update current inventory. So I can go ahead and demonstrate that for you. So first thing we want to do is use a program called MAMP. MAMP is used to host a local server to host a database. Normally you could do this on a cloud, which would then mean it would cost more money. At the moment, we're just doing it for testing purposes locally. So we have that started up, and we can go here. I can show you my current database. Update that real quick. So if we go to State Line and Games, this is our current table that we're using as our inventory system. So each item in the inventory has an ID, name of the game, the console it's on, how many in stock, what the price should be, and completion, and that just means if it has like just the disc or just the game cartridge, or if it comes with the box and manual. So let's go ahead and start the programs, see what it looks like. So this is the welcome screen. It has the two buttons here, the add to database button and view database button. They'll bring you to both separate screens. You can go ahead and check what's in there right now. Here we have the current inventory as shown in the my PHP table. So what we want to do for testing purposes, add an item to that inventory system. We can go ahead and put in, let's say, Super Mario Bros. And that one is on the original Nintendo. I can actually just put Nintendo. The quantity, let's say 5. Price, we'll say $14.99. And we'll say just the cartridge, so we'll call it just loose. Now that game was not in the database, it says it has been added. So go here, we can view it. It has been assigned an identification number, Super Mario Bros. Now the console is actually listed as NES, which is the proper term we use when referring to that system. Now the reason it's renaming it is this method right here, format console names, in the add to database controller. Whenever Nintendo NES or a Nintendo Entertainment System is entered as a console, it will be formatted to NES. Now this is similarly implemented into all systems that we could currently think of that we sell, which makes it a lot more uniform when adding things. Another cool part about the add to database screen here is that we can just update the quantity. Let's say we just got 5 more traded in at our store, and we just bought 5 more off of people. And we'll say we got to put it at the same price, right? Existing game has been updated. Now if we go here, same identifier, now we have 10. So a little bit of what's going on behind the scenes here for adding to the database is that we are checking to see if the game already exists in the database or not. That's what these if and else statements are for. If it does exist, then we want to get the ID, update the quantity with the new integer that has the same ID. If we don't have that item in the database, however, we want to just insert all the information. Upon entering a game, whether it's existing or new to the inventory, we want to clear the text fields after that. That's what this function's for. And the update message will, the show up the database update message will actually create the animation of it fading, the text fading after completion. So that's pretty much what's going on in the database controller. Now, one thing to note is that the identifier will only match even if the identifier will match the same game if the name, the console, the price, and the completion are the same. Otherwise, it will create a new box here. I can actually show you. So if we put in Super Mario Bros. For NES, and we want to say, I don't know, $24.99, and let's say, oops, that's the quantity. So we'll say we got one of a $24.99, but this one is complete, is why it's more. So that should be intuitively giving a separate identifier. So the game has been added to database, not updated. So now number 11 is Super Mario's for NES 1 that is $24.99 and complete. Now this is an important distinction, as we don't want Super Mario Bros. That is loose to be at the same identity as Super Mario Bros. Complete. This helps us keep track of what we have that's complete and what isn't. So the cool thing going further into the view database is that we can filter separately by each text field search. So we can search by ID. That's going to display everything with a 1 in it if I search 1. If I search for Call of Duty, it's going to display everything that has the same name with Call of Duty in it. And search by console, quantity, price, you name it. What we hope to do further is implement a method to be able to search by multiple text fields at a time, multiple columns. So if we were to search by Call of Duty and Xbox, it would display only things that had both of those. At the moment, we can only do one at a time successfully, but we're on the right track to that, I would say. You can also sort ascending, descending by each column. Let me show you a little bit what's going on in there. So in order to check for certain strings within the database, we had to make a observable list into a filtered list. And then basically just loop through all the data by making each text field a separate reference within the controller, and then referencing each text box has a unique identifier that we reference in order to tell the controller which field to search for that string. So some issues we encountered were issues with the time zone affecting the tables functionality, and actually the whole system as far as all the program in its entirety. So what we had to do was set it to UTC for time zone, That way we were able to access the table. Another issue we had was with referencing the table within the hosted database. So the variables had to be referenced in the same exact way throughout the FXML layout classes, the Java effects, and within the controllers themselves. So some misreferencing on labels or variable labels was affecting that from working at all. Once we figured that out, we got it working, obviously, perfectly. So additional things that we plan to add in the future include drop-down menus in the database. Auto scaling is another big one for the window size to make everything look, nice and centered. So we want to add a drop-down menu possibly for consoles, making it easier to enter things in, and optimally we hope to put in an autofill, which would be even better. Let's see here. Other things that we hope to do include creating a separate database for the inventory of the consoles we hope to sell and those prices and everything. Since we do sell systems, controllers, memory cards, all that kind of stuff. So if we could separate at least the consoles into a separate database for now, I think that would be optimal. Another longer term goal would be a receipt generator for every sale that occurs, with a timestamp and all that. A delete function for the database if we want to delete anything from the database within the program itself. This would probably have some administrator tools or require an administrator sign in. So we hope to at least get the functionality working. Maybe the administrator functionality would come later. That we haven't decided. Error checking when adding to the database would be another thing that we're trying to implement, as far as misspelling, minor things like that. UI, we hope to make the UI look, more uniform, easier to look at, very easy to navigate. And a very long-term goal, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get to this, is a sale log where we would have the records of every day's sales and what was sold and the totals, timestamps, stuff like that, along with potentially a customer database, which we could use to contact them or send emails as a receipt, things like that. So that is basically our current status of our project, and we look forward to improving it. Thanks for watching.